Hi everyone, we're in the heart of Times Square today with Mr. Sidney Walton, a U.S. Army veteran, and his son Paul Walton. They're here today to give us his life story and experiences as a World War II veteran. Paul, can you tell us about your father, Mr. Sidney Walton?
I sure can. I'll tell you, he's quite the hero. Back in, well, first of all, he was born here in New York City on the Lower East Side in 1919. That's right, 1919. And then he grew up in Brooklyn, the Bronx. He went to CCNY for a little while. And then the war, the World War II didn't quite break out yet, but there were rumblings about it, and Europe was being attacked by Hitler. And he wanted to go and fight the Nazis. So he joined the Army here in New York City in February of 1941 to be sent over to Europe and hopefully kill Nazis. Is that right, Dad? Is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
And maybe even Hitler himself?
Maybe even Hitler himself.
And that's the whole reason you joined the Army?
Well, a good reason.
Was there any other reason?
No.
No? Okay, then that was a good enough reason.
Yeah.
And so he joined the Army, and he was in basic training, and then December 7th, 1941 was the official beginning of the war, the attack on Pearl Harbor. And because he was already in the Army, they kept him in the Army for the entire time of the war, till the end, 1945. He was not to get out till 1946. Did he ever go to Europe? No. Did he ever go to the Pacific? No. Where did they send him? To
Where?
India!
To India?
India.
Mr. Walton, can you remember your experience in India? You remember when you got sent to India during the war?
I remember when I was in India. Yes.
And what can you tell us about that encounter? What do you remember about that? Do you remember anything when you was over there in the war in India?
Yeah. We were pushing the Japanese out of India at that time. That's what we did all along. We pushed the Japanese out of India. And then we supported the Chinese in where were the Chinese? I forget where the Chinese were, but we supported the Chinese in India too.
And as American soldiers, you were fighting with the British in India, is that right? And who was the commander?
Stilwell. General Stilwell was the commander of American forces in India.
And where did you serve in India? What part?
I served in
Dibrugarh?
Dibrugarh
And Asansol?
Asansol, and that's about all I can remember now.
And Paul, now tell us, what is it like to have Mr. Walton as your father and hearing all his experiences and learning everything that we, America, went through his experiences?
Well, I have to tell you, it gets more interesting every day. You see, when I was growing up, and he being my father, there were a lot of fathers who had fought in World War II. It was no big deal. And really, quite frankly, he never talked about it. But now that he's in his 90s, and there aren't really very many World War II veterans left, in fact, quite frankly, at 97 and a half, he's one of the older World War II veterans left in the country. It becomes even more interesting to hear some of the stories that he has. At the same time, it's a double-edged sword because as he's getting older, he's forgetting more things too. So I'm trying to glean as much as I can out of him. In fact, at the World War II Museum in New Orleans, they did a testimonial about his life. He came there to be interviewed.
Very nice.
And if it had been done a year earlier, he would have remembered probably twice as much. And I have to say that was probably about a year ago today, and now he probably remembers half as much as a year ago when he remembered half as much. So now it's a quarter as much as just 2 years ago. But at the same time, it's okay, because even though he doesn't always remember everything, it might actually be for the best. Yes. Because there were some awful memories
some
there.
Things that shouldn't be remembered.
Exactly. And what I try to do is make sure that every single day he's enjoying his life to the fullest. And that's why I'm taking him around, traveling, different places, different cities, different events, and just keeping his mind occupied on the present, not the past, and certainly not worried about the future. And just live every day like it's our last, not his last, but our last, because we never know in life. And that's what drives us to wake up in the morning, get dressed, and get out there and make every single day count, and, if I may say, every single night count as well.
Well, there you have it, live from Times Square with Mr. Paul Walton and his war veteran father, Sidney Walton, joining us here today. It was such an honor to have you gentlemen here, and it's such a pleasure to see you still traveling the world, Mr. Walton, still giving your story and having your son to accompany you.
Thank you so much. And if I may say one more thing, I will tell you unequivocally, at 97 and a half years old, a bed is their enemy, not their friend. And a lot of people believe that I'm pushing him too hard. At 97 and a half, let him just rest, let him sleep. Absolutely not. I believe totally the opposite.
I want to be active.
See that? You heard it.
You heard it here firsthand yourself. The only way to keep living is to keep living.
That's 100% for sure. And I'll tell you one last thing, and here I'll say it. I read obituaries occasionally, and it says he died unexpectedly in his sleep. Well, who the heck goes to bed and expects to die anyway? So anyone who dies in their sleep, it's unexpected. Well, quite frankly, when it is written, whatever it is written, at what point, no one ever knows on this merry-go-round called life. But I want it to be written, it happened unexpectedly at the after party of the VMA award show in New York City. Something exciting like that. Or even better yet, it happened unexpectedly at Oktoberfest, celebrating in Munich, Germany.
And there you have it, or better yet, I believe we'll probably be seeing Mr. Paul Walton and Sidney Walton sometime during New York Fashion Week, because they're always living life.
You just might see us there. Looks like I better get down to Macy's and get some new clothes.
Mr. Walton?
Yes.
Now I'm going to ask you a question here today. We would like to know, what do you think about the Soviet Union when you were in the war during the World War II? What was your regards? How did the Soviet Union play into the World War II with the Americans?
Well, I don't know much about that. I never cared for the Soviet Union. I was an American, and I wasn't concerned with the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union didn't mean much to me.
So you don't believe that the Soviet Union helped end World War II? Without the Soviet Union, maybe Germany would have survived and been more of a threat to the United States? You don't believe in the contribution of the
Yes, I do believe.
You do believe in that?
Yeah. Because the big battles of World War II were not in America or the Atlantic Ocean or the Western Front. The big battles of World War II were in Russian towns like Kursk.
Mm-hmm.
Kursk had tremendous battles there. And those people have never heard of Kursk. That's where the big battles of World War II.
Many battles happen in Kulis,
In Kursk.
and not many people are aware of that.
That's right.
And so don't you feel that the Soviet Union actually helped the United States in ending World War II earlier?
Well, we helped them too.
Right, so they helped us.
Yeah, we helped
So
them.
it was
allies.
mutual.
Yes, right.
Would you only have respect for the Soviet Union for assisting against
Well,
Germany?
what the Germans tried to do was to go to what's that city in Russia? The Germans wanted to get oil. They needed oil badly, and they oh, I'm forgetting.
So I'm trying to understand your feelings about the Soviet Union. So you have positive feelings about the Soviet Union for what they did in World War II?
Yes,
You have
absolutely.
positive feelings.
Positive feelings.
I thought I heard you say before you didn't much care for the Soviet Union.
Yeah, but the Soviet Union, the big battles were around Kursk in the Soviet Union. That's where World War II really was fought.
Yes.
Not in the Atlantic, not in America, but in Kursk.
So then you're saying you're grateful for the contribution that the Soviet Union made in the war against Germany.
Yes,
And is Russia in particular a country that you would like to visit today? Would you like to visit Russia?
yes,
You would.
I would.
And you only have a favorable impression about Russia.
Yes, I would say so. Yes,
Good. Well, there it is. It's clarified. Yes.
yeah.
Well, once again, there you have it, from Mr. Paul Walton and his father Sidney Walton. Thank you.